Michael worked in a basement office with no windows. A service center for a faceless corporation whose name changed every few months but always sounded the same. Down there, time didn't move right. The fluorescent lights hummed in a frequency that seemed to pierce thought itself, and the air always smelled faintly of metal and dust. Michael's job was simple: listen to complaints. 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, endlessly. The recordings were short. A 30-second clip of a woman's voice describing how the company had wronged her. He didn't know what product she was talking about. No one did. He just listened and logged them, like everyone else in his row. There were no names, no live calls, just audio loops. One Tuesday morning, Michael noticed the voice had changed. It was still the same script, same words, same pauses, but the voice wasn't hers anymore. It was a man's voice, rough, angry. He blinked at his monitor. The file name hadn't changed. The waveform was identical. He replayed it. The man said, "You wronged me. You'll never fix it." His tone cracked halfway through, like he was holding back something worse than rage, grief maybe, or madness. Michael flagged the clip, marked it for corruption, and moved on. But the next file was the same, and the next. And by the end of the day, the system was glitching. The voices layering, echoing, stacking like overlapping screams behind a wall. Dozens of voices, all describing the same complaint. Same words, different mouths. The next morning, the complaints changed. A woman said she'd purchased a product in 1987, but wouldn't receive it until 2045. Another man claimed he'd opened a package and found himself inside. Eyes open, breathing, whispering the same complaint in reverse. A child said she'd called customer service to complain about calling customer service. Michael's skin crawled. He muted his headset, but the sound didn't stop. It was like the voices were leaking through the walls now, through the air vents, through the hum of the lights. When he took off his headset completely, he still heard them, faintly, whispering through the wiring in the ceiling. He went to his supervisor, a man named Craig, whose face looked stretched too tight, as if it had forgotten how to relax. "I need to quit," Michael said. Craig frowned. "You can't. You're contract bound." "I've only been here 3 years." Craig looked at him like he was staring into something hollow. "Michael," he said softly, "you've been here 17. Michael laughed. But it didn't sound right. His reflection in Craig's glass door looked older, the hair thinner, the hands weathered. "Check your start date," Craig said, and closed the door. That night, Michael dug through his files. His ID badge said employee since 2008. The date blinked on his computer monitor, March 4th, 2025. That was impossible. He'd started in 2022. He opened a drawer and found an old company manual with his name on it, but the paper was yellowed and the ink had faded. Half the policies referred to departments that no longer existed. A logo he didn't recognize. He looked up at the ceiling. The hum of the lights sounded, slower now, deeper, like it was breathing. The next day, no one spoke. Every worker sat at their desk, headsets pressed to their ears, motionless. The only sound was a chorus of overlapping complaints, rising and falling like an ocean of static. Michael looked at his neighbor, a woman named Janine, who'd been there as long as he could remember. Her eyes were open, tears running down her face. "Janine?" he whispered. She didn't blink. Her lips moved, repeating the same words. "You wronged me. You'll never fix it." Her voice was layered under 100 others. He ripped her headset off and still heard the sound pouring from it, even unplugged. He stumbled backward. Every monitor on the floor was flashing the same thing. Incoming call. He ran, through hallways that didn't end where they used to. The basement floor plan twisted, corridors curving back into themselves. The exit door was sealed, bolted with an electronic lock that flashed red. He slammed his ID card against it again and again. From the intercom above, a distorted voice spoke. "Please hold, Michael. Your complaint is very important to us." His badge slipped from his hand. The door opened by itself, but beyond it wasn't the street. It was another row of cubicles, identical, empty. And from the far end, he could see himself, sitting at a desk, headset on, back turned. He approached slowly. Each step echoed longer than it should have, like the floor was amplifying his footsteps. When he reached the desk, he touched the man's shoulder. The man turned. It was him. Older. Eyes sunken, lips cracked. "Don't pick up the phone," the older Michael whispered. "It's you on the other end. It's It's always been you. Then the phone on the desk rang. The sound hit like a blade, shrill, inhuman, vibrating the room. Older Michael pressed his palms to his ears and screamed, but no sound came out, only the ringing, louder, deeper, until it wasn't just in the air, but inside Michael's skull. The screen blinked. Incoming call. Michael, he answered it. The line was silent at first, then a breath. Hello? Michael said. A voice, his own, answered, older, cracked, afraid. I'm calling to report time loss. I've been stuck in this job for years. I can't leave. Every time I try, I wake up back here. I think I'm dead, or maybe I was never alive. Michael's stomach turned. He said, You're not dead. Then why can't I remember my last day outside? You're just tired, Michael said. No, the voice said, I remember you. What? You're the one who replaced me. The line went dead. Then every phone in the office started ringing. Michael fell to the floor, clutching his head. Voices poured through, hundreds, thousands, all versions of him. Older, younger, crying, laughing, screaming, each one describing the same complaint. Being trapped in the basement, in a job that never ends. They begged for help. They cursed the company. They cursed him. You signed the contract. You took the seat. You kept the line open. He looked around. The office was changing, the walls rippling like wet paper, peeling back to reveal other rooms beneath, layers of the same office stacked through time like a wound repeating itself. Inside each room, versions of him, some skeletal, all with headsets on. He started to scream, but another voice screamed with him, then another, until it became a choir. A voice cut through the noise, calm, clear, and very close. It was the original woman from the recording. Do you understand the complaint now? She asked. He turned. She stood behind him, the first voice, the one he'd listened to for years. Her face was blurred, like the pixels couldn't agree on what she looked like. Who are you? He whispered. Customer service, she said. We listen to what people create, and we make it real. She reached out and touched his chest. Her hand slid through him like smoke. You complained about time, about meaning, about the loop. We delivered exactly what you asked for. Michael gasped as the world tilted. The office folded inward, collapsing into static. When he opened his eyes, everything was normal again. The lights buzzed, the monitors glowed. Craig was walking past, clipboard in hand. Good morning, Michael, he said. You're in early. Michael looked at his hands. They were younger again, smooth. He blinked at his screen. The same audio file was queued up, complaint001.wav. He hit play. A woman's voice spoke. You wronged me. You'll never fix it. Michael exhaled. Maybe it was all a dream. He leaned back in his chair. Then he heard it, faint, under the static, a whisper almost drowned out. Michael, please hang up. His own voice, he froze. The screen flashed, recording in progress. Complaint file, Michael2045.wav.